What's up everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we are discussing a topic that always sparks intense debate: atheism. I know, that's something that I never really talk about here, but we're gonna try. Today we're gonna discuss 10 shocking myths about atheism that you often hear people say, and we're gonna go through each of them and debunk them. And before we dive in, just wanna remind you guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to see more videos on atheism and other topics from me in the future. Myth number 1, atheism is a belief system. Many people, and a lot of people say this, and it gets under my skin probably the most, people say that it's a belief system like any other religion. In reality, atheism is just the lack of a belief in any god or gods. It's not a structured belief system with doctrines and rituals or holy books. And I use this example a lot. If you are asymptomatic, it means you are not having symptoms of something. If you are an atheist, you just don't have religion. And since we're talking about belief, I'd also like to mention knowledge. There is the term agnostic. The root of the word agnostic is gnostic, which means knowledge. So just as asymptomatic means no symptoms, or atheist means no belief in a deity, agnostic means to not have knowledge. I personally think that everybody is agnostic. Nobody has answers that aren't out there. And please don't say, look at the trees or the babies. Just hear me out here. You can strongly believe in something, but that does not equate to a solid answer. Sorry, it just doesn't. I know I'm gonna cause problems with this one, but I just wanted to throw that out there because people are gonna be like, well, what about agnosticism? It's not a belief system either. That literally only speaks to the knowledge you have. And if you say, I don't know, therefore I'm not gonna say I believe or don't believe, well, you're an atheist. If you're not saying you believe, that's all it is. I know it's a scary word, but let's just destigmatize it, please. Because it makes people think we don't have morals. We'll get there. Myth number 2, atheists have no morals. One of the most persistent myths is that atheists have no moral compass. Truth is, morality doesn't require religion, and oftentimes is better without it. But atheists can and do follow ethical principles on empathy and social well-being. Personally, I do think our society is driven by a secular morality. Otherwise, you would see people getting stoned in the streets, but that's just me. Myth number 3, atheists think that everything is random. Some myths claim that atheists believe that everything in the universe came about by chance. But natural selection itself is not random at all. The survival and reproductive success of an individual is directly related to the ways its inherited traits function in the context of its local environment. As for our origins as an atheist, I say I don't know. Scary words for a lot of people. Yes, there are theories, but if we get down to the very bottom of all of it, there are a lot of unanswered questions. I just simply don't want to fill in the blank with God because I don't know. Which brings me back to the idea that atheism is not a belief system. We also don't believe actively that the universe came from nothing. You might find people who make arguments for it or against it. I don't really care. At the bottom line, atheism has nothing to do with that. It's really just not believing in God, guys. It's not that complicated. And just because the origins of life may be unknown, even though I'm an atheist, with all my lack of morality and stuff, I do care about the sustainability of our life. According to a recent report, last year likely represented the peak of carbon emissions from the electricity sector. The turning point came as a result of super high rates of clean power growth. Renewable sources generated 30% of the world's electricity for the first time. And there's reason to believe that more is yet to come, as many sunny countries have still yet to harness the energy, including Egypt, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia, among others, who still generate less than 3% of their electricity from solar. As we look ahead into summer, it's a great idea to take on personal projects in your own living space. Did you know that insulating your windows and around ACs and preventing air from leaving through your windows could save you up to 30% on energy costs? You can also get plastic sheets that stick to your windows that typically cost under $20. You can also use window films and weather stripping. And you can use thick curtains. I have these all in my office. There are blackout curtains that completely block the sun. That helps control the temperature in your home, and you could also get $600 in tax credits. And that is thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act. We need individual actions and larger government reforms working together to create change. I might not know all the origins of life, but I would like for all of us to keep enjoying it. Which brings me to myth number 4, atheism makes people feel like life is meaningless and may even lead to nihilism. A lot of people think that atheists, without having belief in some kind of deity, feel that life is totally meaningless. Like, what's the point of being here? And some people even say that atheism will inevitably lead to nihilism, which is the belief that life is meaningless, while of course some atheists may be nihilists, and people of all types could be nihilists. Many of us find rich and fulfilling sources of meaning without religious belief. Don't worry, we're okay. Which brings me to myth number 5. Atheists are unhappy people. There's the stereotype that we're all walking around super depressed. And let me tell you, depression, it affects all types. But again, happiness does not depend on religious belief. Atheists are perfectly fine finding happiness in various aspects of life. Actually, we find happiness and meaning in many different ways. You got relationships, you got personal growth, you got helping others, you got believing in Jesus. Maybe not that last one, but all the other ones are solid. It's just, being a human and enjoying life. I might argue some people who are not religious might actually enjoy life even more. And not because we're walking around with zero morals, just pillaging the streets and setting everything on fire, but honestly, it's because you have one life. There's no magical afterlife, pearly gates waiting for you, so enjoy it while it lasts. I also can't even begin to tell you how many lives have been dimmed by religion. I mean, imagine if you're a member of the LGBTQ+ community. You're going to spend all that time with religious indoctrination having them tell you you're not even allowed to love who you love or be who you want to be. That is a miserable life to live. And it's largely because of religion. A little hard to be happy when you got the "it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve" finger pointing in your face. I just thought it'd be really funny if you had 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl, and you named them Adam, Eve, and Steve. That would be really funny. I missed my chance on that one. I've also heard people say that they're okay to basically sacrifice or postpone their happiness until they're dead, basically. They don't pursue what they want to pursue while they're on earth. And I'm not even saying heathenistic things, right? I'm just saying they don't pursue their passions and they make endless sacrifices and live sort of a miserable life because they're waiting for some sort of reward that personally I don't think is ever going to happen. How sad and depressing is that? I've actually seen that play out in various different ways, and it's pretty heartbreaking. Myth number 6, atheists hate God.
Why do you hate God? Because he took everything away from me.
It's super common to hear that you're just an atheist because you're angry at God, or you went through something in your life and it made you mad at Jesus. It's no, I just don't believe that, either of those things exist. I mean, I say either of those things, but really it's supposed to be one thing. It's all very confusing. But no, we're not mad at God. We might be mad at religion or the consequences that religion has on people, but to be mad at something that doesn't exist, it's just not a thing. Literally, not a thing. Atheists typically reject the idea of God instead of harboring some sort of anger towards it. Him, them, they, them, I don't know. And just so you guys know, I'm also not harboring any judgment against unicorns that I don't think are real. I don't lose sleep over being pissed off at unicorns. You just can't be mad at something that you don't think exists. Okay, Kevin Sorbo?
I hate God.
Myth number 7, atheism is just another religion. Now, we sort of tackled this in the atheism being a belief thing, but let's expand. Not worshiping any god or gods, not even believing that any god or gods exist. It's just the absence of doing something that a lot of people are doing. And just because something is popular doesn't mean something is true. Not believing in your religion is not a religion in and of itself. I feel the need to say this many, many times and almost double it in this video because this one pisses me off so much and you hear it all of the time. Atheism lacks the key elements of religion, such as believing in a deity, rituals, religious texts. Unless you are an a-leprechaunist and you go out of your way to actively not believe in leprechauns, you think about it day and night, it basically consumes you, you tithe to it. If you don't believe in leprechauns, I'll let you off the hook. And I will not say that that in and of itself is a religion. That's what I feel like you're saying to me. Myth number 8, atheists can't explain miracles. Miracles are often cited as evidence of a deity because, circular logic. I often see the same thing with religious texts like, well, the Bible is proof of God, which I can agree to as much as I think Harry Potter books prove that Hogwarts is real. Atheists generally view miracles with skepticism and will want proof. The burden of proof lies on the person claiming the miracles are real, right? Not the people who are kind of raising an eyebrow at it. Myth 9, atheists are closed-minded. Contrary to this, atheists often advocate for open-mindedness and critical thinking. A lot of us were once religious and came to atheism through questions and exploration. When you've been indoctrinated for a long time and everybody in your family and community thinks a type of way, it is definitely a difficult process to step away. It can be a lot easier to just fit in with everybody and answer God to questions that you don't have answers to. Which brings me to myth number 10. Atheists don't exist. Poof! I'm not real. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this. I even made a funny TikTok about it one time back in the day.
Fact. There's no such thing as a true atheist. You really do believe in God. You're just too stubborn and rebellious to admit it.
Gotta love that guy. In all seriousness, they're getting at the idea that deep down, you really do believe in God. Which personally I think is incredibly condescending. I mean, imagine if I went up to a religious person and I'm like, well, you might think that you're praying right now, but deep down, you know it's all bullshit. Although sometimes I do feel, I know this might be hard to accept for someone who is truly religious. If you truly have a deep faith, it might be confusing to understand that there are those of us out there that just don't feel the same way. But just because you can't relate to somebody doesn't mean that their thoughts and feelings aren't valid, and it certainly doesn't mean that they don't exist. There are many, many people out there, myself included, who truly just don't believe in God. It's not that complicated. We are real, and we do exist. And that's the biggest difference between an atheist and God. Okay, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Those are the 10 biggest myths that I encounter all the time about atheists and atheism, and I just wanted to come on here and set the record straight on a lot of these things. I know I've said it here and there, scattered throughout videos on my channel, but I wanted to make one concise bullet point of a video where I go through and tell you the most common ones that I hear. Organize it and package it into just for you. So there you have it, 10 shocking myths about atheism debunked. Were you actually shocked though? Some people might be, but I think I've been doing this for so long that it's just like, yep, there it is again. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like, comment below, and let me know, did I miss some? What are some frequent ones that you guys hear? Maybe I'll make a part 2. Don't forget to subscribe, and please hit that bell icon if you want to see more videos like this from me in the future. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.